I think I've tried to be a good listener. I try to listen to the audience.
From his humble beginnings to his rise to fame, Ricky Skaggs' life has been a wild ride, filled with ups and downs that have left him a bit of a mystery to country music fans. What became of the man who once dominated the airwaves, and where did he disappear to? Join us to explore what happened to Ricky Skaggs. The rise of Ricky Skaggs. Ricky Skaggs came into the world on July 18, 1954, in Cordell, Kentucky, a quaint little town nestled in the Appalachian Mountains. This was a place where music was ingrained in the fabric of everyday life, and families often came together to make music. For Ricky, music wasn't just a form of entertainment, but rather a way of life. His parents, Hobart and Dorothy Skaggs, had a deep passion for country and bluegrass music, and they made sure to expose him to a variety of songs from a very young age. His father was skilled at playing the guitar, and his mother had a hauntingly beautiful voice. It was their shared love for music that created the perfect atmosphere for a young boy who seemed to possess a natural talent for it. Ever since Ricky was able to grasp a musical instrument, he felt a strong attraction towards the mandolin. As a 4-year-old, he initially faced some challenges due to his small hands, but his persistence overshadowed his physical limitations. Spending countless hours tuned into the radio, he meticulously picked out tunes and devoted himself to practicing daily. Before too long, his parents began to notice something extraordinary about their son. He possessed the uncanny ability to grasp a song after hearing it just once and play it back with almost flawless accuracy. His musical talent flourished rapidly, and at the tender age of 6, an extraordinary opportunity came his way. He was given the chance to perform alongside one of his musical idols. The hero of the story was Bill Monroe, who is often credited as the creator of bluegrass music. Recognized for his quick and precise playing technique as well as his melancholic singing voice, Monroe was a musical legend. During one of his performances in a neighboring town, a young boy named Ricky was in attendance. The audience was aware of Ricky's musical talent and urged Monroe to allow him to join the performance. Holding his tiny mandolin, Ricky confidently took the stage. Spectators were astonished as the 6-year-old played alongside the music icon. This experience became a defining moment in Ricky's life, shaping his future as a musician. Following that evening, Ricky discovered his future lay in music. He devoted himself to honing his skills, mastering not only the mandolin but also the fiddle, guitar, and banjo. His fingers danced effortlessly across the strings, and his musical intuition grew stronger with each sunrise. Supported by his parents, Ricky was given the freedom and resources necessary to excel in his musical pursuits. As Ricky aged, his musical tastes expanded beyond bluegrass to include the melodic country tunes and the lively beats of rock and roll. Despite branching out, bluegrass remained his true love, a familiar sound that resonated with him deeply. When given the chance as a young teen, he seized the opportunity to become a member of Ralph Stanley's band, the Clinch Mountain Boys, showcasing his undeniable musical talent at just 15 years old.
Ralph Stanley, me and Keith Whitley met when we was about 14, and we started hanging out together and playing on weekends.
Collaborating with Ralph Stanley was like a fantasy realized for Ricky. The essence of Stanley's music was unrefined and genuine, steeped in sentiment and heritage. Ricky gained insight from seasoned musicians in the field, observing and listening attentively. He showcased his skills on the mandolin, harmonized vocals, and occasionally led songs. Each show was an educational experience, and every evening performing elevated his musical prowess. Being a young traveler was challenging, but Ricky did not let it bother him. He enjoyed moving from one place to another, performing his music for audiences who valued it. This journey helped him understand the value of commitment and hard work. Ricky discovered the significance of putting in long hours and waking up early. Above all, he came to understand that music is more than just technical expertise. It's about emotions. It's about narrating a story and forming bonds with others. Ricky gained confidence from his experience with the Clinch Mountain Boys, which prepared him to enter the music industry on a broader scale. He was no longer just a talented young boy, but a skilled professional. His musical skills had improved, his voice had grown more powerful, and his grasp of music had deepened. He was fully prepared for any future challenges. Since he was a young boy performing with Bill Monroe, Ricky Skaggs has had a rich musical life that continued with Ralph Stanley. Although he had experienced a lot in music by the time he reached adulthood, this was just the start of his journey. The world was about to witness the extent of his passion and talent. Transition from bluegrass to country. During the mid-1970s, Ricky Skaggs was excited about broadening his musical interests. Having honed his bluegrass skills playing with Ralph Stanley, he felt it was time for a change. Teaming up with Vince Gill and Jerry Douglas, among other skilled musicians, he created Boone Creek, a cutting-edge bluegrass group that brought a new perspective to the genre. Boone Creek set themselves apart from typical bluegrass bands by blending in elements of country and rock, resulting in a sound that was simultaneously fresh and familiar. While retaining respect for the traditional roots of the genre, they were unafraid to innovate and explore new musical avenues. Their music, with its blend of classic bluegrass speed and precision, resonated with a diverse audience thanks to its modern sensibilities. Vince Gill's velvety singing and Jerry Douglas's expertise on the dobro created a distinctive sound for Boone Creek. Skaggs, showcasing his mandolin skills and powerful vocals, was the focal point of the group. The dynamic performances of Boone Creek were energetic, featuring seamless harmonies and thrilling instrumental solos. Despite its brief existence, Boone Creek provided Skaggs with an opportunity to delve into his artistic side. Additionally, it exposed him to a wider audience hungry for innovative bluegrass music. Boone Creek had served its purpose as a starting point for Skaggs, but he was eager to push himself even more. He found the chance to do so when Emmylou Harris asked him to be a part of her hot band. Harris, a renowned country musician known for her talent in combining different musical styles, provided Skaggs with a significant opportunity to showcase his skills to a broader audience within the country music scene. The hot band consisted of top-notch musicians, and Skaggs seamlessly integrated himself into the group. By showcasing his skills on the fiddle and mandolin, he infused Harris's country music with a bluegrass flair. What was truly significant, though, was his ability to appeal to a wider range of listeners. Harris's loyal fan base extended beyond just bluegrass enthusiasts. It also included country music fans who appreciated well-crafted narratives, memorable tunes, and genuine emotion. During this experience, Skaggs learned a great deal. He observed Harris leading the stage effectively, witnessed the band adjusting their music to various genres, and discovered the strength of country music. This period marked the start of Skaggs shaping his musical style. He stopped viewing bluegrass and country as distinct genres, but rather as complementary elements that could be blended harmoniously. After spending time collaborating with Harris on various projects, Skaggs felt prepared to progress further in his career. In 1979, he unveiled Sweet Temptation, an album that skillfully blended elements of bluegrass and country music. This release was significant as it showcased Skaggs fully embracing his artistic vision for a complete album. Sweet Temptation songs were influenced by bluegrass, characterized by their quick picking and close harmonies. The production and instruments used also had elements of country music, broadening the appeal beyond traditional bluegrass enthusiasts. The album wasn't exclusively bluegrass, but rather served as a connector between different genres. Both critics and fans gave positive feedback to Sweet Temptation, recognizing Skaggs' unique talent for combining the traditional and modern elements in his music. The album's success attracted the interest of big record companies, leading to a significant career opportunity for Skaggs. In 1980, Ricky Skaggs had established himself as a respected figure in the music industry. He had showcased his musical abilities as both an instrumentalist and a vocalist, while also demonstrating innovative creativity. During that time, he secured a recording contract with Epic Records, a renowned record label known for representing top country music artists. Joining Epic marked a pivotal point in Skaggs' professional journey. It signified his transition from being simply a bluegrass artist or a background musician in a group to becoming a solo country performer with the opportunity to connect with a wide audience. The record label had faith in his talent to infuse bluegrass elements into popular country music, and they were prepared to support him in this endeavor. Skaggs acquired the means to produce and put out music on a grander level with the help of the recent agreement. He gained the ability to collaborate with well-known producers, work in top-notch recording facilities, and team up with a marketing group that could expand his fan base. While transitioning to mainstream country, he remained true to his bluegrass origins. He ensured that each track he recorded maintained the essence and passion of the music that had captured his heart since he was a young boy. This change paved the way for future developments. Ricky Skaggs was more than just a talented musician now. He was on the cusp of achieving stardom. His skill in blending bluegrass and country music would soon establish him as a highly regarded figure in both genres. Although the path ahead was still unfolding, one thing was clear. Ricky Skaggs had discovered his unique musical style. Breaking through with Waitin' for the Sun to Shine. Ricky Skaggs made his debut with the album Waitin' for the Sun to Shine in 1981, marking a significant moment in his career as a solo country artist signed with Epic Records. This release was pivotal for Skaggs, as it not only brought him into the spotlight of mainstream country music listeners, but also demonstrated that there was still a demand for traditional country music on the airwaves. The record contained a combination of new tracks and specifically chosen covers, highlighting Skaggs' sincere singing and exceptional musical abilities. In contrast to the mainstream pop-infused country tunes gaining popularity, Waitin' for the Sun to Shine remained loyal to the traditional sound of the genre. It captured the timeless essence of classic country music, characterized by straightforward yet impactful tunes, lush harmonies, and expert instrument playing. The album was well received by country radio stations, with 2 songs, Cryin' My Heart Out Over You and I Don't Care, topping the charts. These tracks resonated with listeners who were craving a revival of classic country music. Ricky Skaggs quickly became a familiar name in households, with his music becoming widely popular. Skaggs demonstrated through the success of Waitin' for the Sun to Shine that his unique mixture of country and bluegrass music was not only a personal interest, but also highly desired by audiences. In the following years, he consistently produced popular songs, establishing himself as a prominent artist of the era. One of the highlights of his music career was the success of the song Cryin' My Heart Out Over You. This track embodied all the quintessential elements of a classic country tune: meaningful lyrics, a captivating melody, and passionate vocals. The audience was captivated by its nostalgic charm, solidifying its place as one of Skaggs' most iconic tracks. Another successful song was Highway 40 Blues, which had a unique vibe compared to his previous hits. The modern sound of the song still paid homage to its traditional country origins. It captured the essence of life on the road, resonating with both fans and fellow musicians in the country music scene. The track gained widespread recognition and played a significant role in broadening his fan base. Skaggs demonstrated his talent for blending bluegrass and country seamlessly in his latest songs, creating a unique and captivating sound. He was more than just a skilled musician. He was a captivating storyteller who infused each recording with emotion and vitality. In the 1980s, the landscape of country music was evolving, with numerous musicians incorporating a pop-influenced style in order to attract a wider fan base. Although this shift led to commercial success for certain artists, it also resulted in a decrease in the presence of traditional country music on the airwaves. This change left many dedicated country music enthusiasts feeling as though the genre was drifting away from its roots and losing its distinctive character. Ricky Skaggs went in a different direction from the prevailing trend at the time. He had a strong belief in the timeless appeal of traditional country music, which was characterized by exceptional songwriting, talented musicians, and genuine emotion. Rather than conforming to the current popular styles, he chose to focus on the enduring beauty of classic country and bluegrass music. Skaggs utilized his influence to shed light on the classic styles of country music. He openly expressed his admiration for traditional sounds and played a role in introducing bluegrass legends to a fresh audience. Through his actions, he demonstrated that country music could remain relevant without undergoing a complete transformation as long as artists honored its origins. His achievements inspired fellow musicians to adopt the roots of country music, kickstarting a trend that would define the genre in the future. Skaggs' impact and skill were recognized by many. In 1982, he received the Male Vocalist of the Year award from the Country Music Association, CMA, a remarkable feat considering his recent rise to fame. This honor highlighted his influence on the music industry and his knack for innovation within tradition. He earned numerous Grammy Awards, establishing himself as a top performer in the industry. These accolades were not only individual accomplishments, but also validation that classic country music continued to hold significance and be cherished. His fame increased with every accolade, elevating him from a skilled bluegrass artist who dabbled in country music to a trailblazer in the industry, actively influencing its direction. During the 1980s, Skaggs emerged as a key player in the neo-traditional country movement, which sought to revive the traditional sound of country music and resist the dominance of pop influences. Skaggs collaborated with fellow artists such as George Strait, Randy Travis, and Dwight Yoakam, who shared a deep appreciation for the history of country music and were dedicated to preserving its traditional roots. Collectively, they played a key role in steering country music back to its origins, demonstrating that audiences continued to appreciate the authentic sounds of steel guitars, fiddles, and sincere storytelling. Skaggs saw his music as more than just creating popular songs. It was a means of safeguarding a particular lifestyle. He persisted in producing tracks that paid tribute to old-school country and bluegrass, and he leveraged his expanding power to support fellow artists with a similar devotion. At the conclusion of the 1980s, Ricky Skaggs had solidified his legacy in the realm of country music. Through his success, he demonstrated that classic country tunes could remain relevant, garnered recognition from esteemed accolades, and motivated up-and-coming artists to embrace their authentic sound. A changing industry and career decline. The 1990s marked the beginning of a fresh era in country music, with Garth Brooks, Shania Twain, and Alan Jackson leading the way in terms of chart-topping success. Their music brought a more refined and radio-friendly sound to the genre by incorporating elements of rock and pop, thus broadening its appeal to a wider audience. Skaggs faced a challenge with this change. His music, which was based on traditional country and bluegrass with acoustic instruments and intricate musicianship, was no longer in line with the mainstream country radio stations of the time, even though it had been popular in the 1980s. As newer musicians leaned towards more polished sounds and grandiose live shows, Skaggs found his music receiving less exposure. There was a declining interest in traditional country music, leading record companies to favor performers who could adapt to the changing trends in the industry. Despite his efforts to keep recording and putting out new music, the spotlight had moved on from the classic style he had become famous for. Due to changes in country radio dynamics, Skaggs saw a decrease in chart success. His songs, which used to dominate the charts, now faced difficulty gaining popularity. The audience that used to appreciate his traditional style was now gravitating towards the trendier country musicians. Even though Skaggs kept performing and putting out music, the fame and fortune he experienced in the 1980s were no longer as prominent. The music scene, which had previously embraced his return to classic country music, was now more interested in a new breed of musicians. Notwithstanding this, Skaggs stayed committed to his music. He adamantly rejected altering his sound to conform to the evolving trends in country radio. Instead, he sought out a different direction that would enable him to uphold his origins while still creating the music he was passionate about. During the mid-1990s, it became evident that Skaggs' era in popular country music was concluding. Following a period of diminishing radio play and album purchases, he opted to separate from Epic Records, the company that had played a vital role in his rise to fame. Skaggs chose to embrace bluegrass music again, instead of trying to keep up with a changing industry. This was the genre of music that influenced him in his childhood and brought him early success. Returning to bluegrass was a way for him to connect with his beginnings, but also marked a new beginning in his career. Despite some viewing this decision as a gamble, Skaggs was confident it was the correct path to take. His heart had always been in bluegrass, and distancing himself from popular country music allowed him to wholeheartedly pursue his passion. Instead of focusing on commercial success or conforming to mainstream expectations, Skaggs was now able to play music purely for the joy it brought him. Skaggs shifted his attention to bluegrass music and put together a fresh team called Ricky Skaggs and Kentucky Thunder during the latter part of the 1990s. This ensemble included top-notch musicians who were committed to reviving bluegrass in its most authentic state. Kentucky Thunder had a fast and energetic sound that was deeply connected to tradition. Their music featured precise harmonies, rapid picking, and a love for storytelling. Skaggs found joy in returning to his favorite type of live shows with this band: intimate, acoustic-driven, and full of raw talent. Bluegrass enthusiasts enthusiastically embraced his return. After spending years away from the genre, his comeback felt seamless. He was no longer a struggling country star trying to adapt to changes in the industry. Now he was a bluegrass artist, embracing the music that had always been in his soul. In 1997, Skaggs unveiled Bluegrass Rules, his first complete bluegrass record in quite some time. This release symbolized the official beginning of his fresh phase and was a statement of his comeback to the style. Bluegrass Rules was a joyful tribute to all the aspects of the music that Skaggs cherished, filled with classic tunes, impressive musical performances, and captivating vocal harmonies. The album showcased the timeless appeal of bluegrass from start to finish. The feedback was amazing. Bluegrass Rules was a huge hit among bluegrass fans, and even received a Grammy Award for the top bluegrass album. It demonstrated that Skaggs made the right choice by moving away from mainstream country music. He was not only creating music, but also contributing to the resurgence of bluegrass music. This album established the direction for Skaggs' future in music. He went on to create more bluegrass albums, go on tour with Kentucky Thunder, and bring a fresh perspective to the younger audience. His comeback to bluegrass music wasn't just about himself, but also sparked a revival within the genre as a whole. His time as a country music star had passed, but his journey was far from over. In many ways, Ricky Skaggs was just getting started. The legacy of Ricky Skaggs, honoring the past and shaping the future. In the late 1990s, Ricky Skaggs made a comeback to bluegrass music with a commitment to preserving and rejuvenating the genre. Although his days of ruling the country radio airwaves were over, his love for music never wavered. Instead of following popular trends, he concentrated on honoring the roots of bluegrass while injecting new life into the music. He brought back the fast-picking, heartfelt harmonies of bluegrass with his band Kentucky Thunder, captivating audiences once again. Rather than simply performing classic tunes, he was pushing the boundaries of the genre and influencing its evolution. By combining traditional elements with new ideas, he earned a reputation as a highly esteemed figure in the world of bluegrass music. Skaggs realized that in order for bluegrass music to flourish, it needed to evolve and adapt with the times. Although he held great admiration for the original founders of the genre, he also recognized the potential for innovation and expansion. Through his dynamic performances, Skaggs was able to mesmerize crowds with his unparalleled skill and passion, attracting a diverse audience of both loyal followers and curious newcomers. Skaggs revitalized the bluegrass genre for a younger audience by utilizing innovative production methods and collaborating with top-notch musicians. He demonstrated that this style of music was not outdated, but rather dynamic, progressive, and still full of thrill. Skaggs maintained the vitality of bluegrass music by teaming up with a diverse group of musicians. By joining forces with iconic artists such as the Whites, Tony Rice, and Bruce Hornsby, he infused his traditional bluegrass sound with varied musical genres.
Forward, and one of the interesting things that I've seen you do is with Bruce Hornsby on piano.
Oh, yeah.
Working with pianist Bruce Hornsby was especially remarkable for him. The fusion of Hornsby's jazz-inspired piano and Skaggs' bluegrass instruments produced a distinct sound that displayed the adaptability of both musicians. Through these joint efforts, bluegrass was brought to the attention of listeners who might not have considered exploring the genre otherwise. Skaggs believed in the importance of mentoring and guiding young musicians to preserve the traditions of bluegrass music. By sharing his knowledge and skills with the next generation, he ensured that the music he cherished would endure and flourish. Many current bluegrass musicians attribute their success to Skaggs' guidance and motivation. The way he freely imparts his expertise has played a significant role in molding the direction of this musical style. Skaggs' religious beliefs were a major influence on both his personal life and his music career. His faith in Christianity shaped the lyrics of his songs and helped him stay centered during the highs and lows of the music business. His union with Sharon White from the Whites marked a significant chapter in his life. Performing as a pair, they showcased their strong musical connection and affection for each other through seamless harmonies. Their mutual admiration for authentic melodies propelled them to fame as a cherished duo in the country and bluegrass genre.
On stage with Ralph, and they were kind of the talk of the circuit that year. Yeah. Everybody was.
Skaggs has not only pursued a career in music, but he has also dedicated his time to philanthropic endeavors and promoting music education. His efforts have helped educate the youth about bluegrass music, guaranteeing that this genre will continue to influence upcoming generations. Reflecting on the past, Skaggs has shared stories of the peaks and valleys in his professional journey. He achieved great success during the 1980s, faced challenges in the 1990s, and made a comeback in the bluegrass genre. Throughout it all, he stayed committed to his passion for music and stayed connected to his origins. In 2018, he was honored with an induction into the Country Music Hall of Fame, acknowledging his impact on both country and bluegrass genres. This event marked the culmination of a long career that showcased his enduring influence across different musical eras. After many years in the field, Skaggs has not lost his momentum. He persistently travels, makes music, and promotes bluegrass music. His shows are consistently high energy, demonstrating his enduring love for music. He has collaborated with up-and-coming country and bluegrass artists, leaving a lasting impression on the future wave of creatives. The influence he has had is evident in the music of those who merge classic and contemporary styles, mirroring his artistic evolution. Ricky Skaggs has had an inspiring journey marked by commitment, evolution, and remaining loyal to his love for music. Beginning as a talented bluegrass musician in his youth, he later achieved fame in country music before returning to his roots. Skaggs' talent for blending different styles and appealing to diverse audiences has solidified his status as a significant figure in the American music scene. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and also click the next video shown on your screen.